Hey, guys, happy Saturday. It is loaded here today, to say the least. We've got, of course, college football going on, NBA, NHL, college basketball just around the corner. But let us not forget, it is the single biggest handle, the richest, the most expensive, the way to make the most money in the horse racing year. It is the Breeders' Cup, guys. Started yesterday, and of course today it's all about stakes races. Huge money at stake. The best horses from around the world are in Santa Anita, so we bring you the best horse handicapper that we know. Our good friend Benny the Boot. He hosts the Backstretch. He is the resident horse handicapper there at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. And Benny, it kicked off yesterday, my friend, and yesterday was pretty exciting too. I'm looking at these numbers. There were some monster numbers on that board yesterday.
Yeah, well, just a quick mention about the Breeders' Cup. They handled $164 million last year, so it truly is a massive money event. And yesterday, it was, it's 2-year-old races, so it's no surprise that you had $1,000 exactas and 50-cent triples for $3,000. But today I'm afraid it's going to be a chalk fest. But things are great here at the Kennel Club. I mean, they're giving away a 3-day, 4-night cruise to the Bahamas for anybody that can pick the superfecta. So big turnout, and the restaurants are sold out. So it's a big day in racing and big day for betting.
Of course, it's going to culminate with the Breeders' Cup Classic. That's going to, and believe it or not, guys, this is going on late today because it's in California. So that's not set to go off until 8:45 this evening, guys, on Eastern time on NBC. I'm sure they'll be hosting all the races, some sort of NBC, NBCSN. It'll be on there on television. But you've got some races in between, though. I mean, obviously, that's the last race, the 12th race. What are you looking at here today?
Well, I've got a number of best bets, but as I said before, I really think today is going to be a lot of chalk because there's some horses that just lay over the field. For example, in race number 6, number 5 is Omaha Beach. If you remember, Omaha Beach was the early favorite for the Derby until he got hurt.
Scratched, right.
And then, you remember? But he was going to be the next Justified, It just didn't happen. And in the 7th race, if she wins today, I'm sure Sister Charlie is going to be the horse of the year. Really unbelievable turfer, and she's meeting up with a couple of very good Europeans, but I think Sister Charlie lays over the field in the 7th. In the 8th, the fastest sprinter to me I've ever seen, and it's Mitoli. And Mitoli is going to get all Mitoli can handle from Chance-A-Lot. And I think it's hard to separate those two, but I'm going to go with Mitoli as my best bet. And then in the 10th race, another one that's 7 for 7, Midnight Bishu. It just, like I said, it's another one of those chalkies, but you got to play him in your verticals and your horizontal bets. And finally, another one that could be horse of the year if he wins is Bricks and Mortar. Bricks and Mortar is trying 1.5 miles for the first time, but Bricks and Mortar has beat everything so far this year. And finally, in the Classic, it's probably the hardest Classic I've ever had to handicap. It's just a bunch of horses that beat up one another, and it's a mix of so-so 3-year-olds mixed in with some very good 4-year-olds. It's a really tough race. I settled on Vino Rosso because Vino Rosso is one in Santa Anita, is one at 1.25 miles, and I think Vino Rosso is better than most of these 3-year-olds.
You're right. $6 million showcase, guys. The class, it's loaded with very good but not great horses, right? I mean, I guess it's kind of wide open from that standpoint, but you had mentioned Sister Charlie. Sister Charlie, guys, the 7th race, the Maker's Mark, filly and mare turf, he's the race's defending champion. She's 3 for 3 on the year, and Chad Brown has won that race 4 damn times already, so I think he knows what he's doing there in the Maker's Mark, filly and mare turf. That's the 7th race today.
That's why he won the Eclipse Award, dude.
Yeah, exactly, Ed. So he knows exactly. Now, Omaha Beach, interesting enough, Mike Smith back on him, of course, and Mike Smith was in no man's land once Omaha Beach was scratched there when during the Triple Crown debacle that happened this year. But let's look at some of these. You mentioned Midnight Bisou here. Let's take a look at this race, the 10th race. You said obviously probably going to lock up Horse of the Year honors if with a win here. You got Mike Smith. You got Steve Asmussen as trainer, the favorite for sure. But who do you like behind him? Who else are you looking at Midnight Bisou with?
Well, as I said, I think Blue Prize, even though he's from post 11, it's not going to make any difference because they've been winning from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Prize loves this distance. It should do very well. And if everything collapses, the one that I see that's a really big closer is number 6, Wildcat, who finished second in this race last year. So those are the three. But I can't make a case against Midnight Bisou, Joe.
All right. Well, you love bricks and mortar.
Go
ahead.
You mentioned something a little bit about Mike Smith. And Mike Smith is on another horse now. Mike Smith is on Yoshida.
Mm.
And Mike Smith is got to be a little pissed off that he's not on the other one, Mackenzie. Because Bob Baffert took him off. He didn't like the way he rode him, and he replaced him with Joel Rosario. Now, if you think Joel Rosario is a step up from Mike Smith, I got a bridge to sell you. So I think Mike Smith, I think, is a little revenge, and I think he's going to give Mackenzie all he can handle.
All right, so let's talk 11th race, the Longinus Turf here. Bricks and Mortar, you mentioned him. Got to be the favorite, 9-5, early line here. Brings home this race. This might be the toughest race on the card, though, because Bricks and Mortar is great, but there's a few other horses in this race that are certainly going to challenge. Who do you like in this race with Bricks and Mortar?
I like Old Persian. This is a European horse that loves this distance. This horse can run 2 miles, so this is not going to be an issue for a mile and a half. But I'll tell you, you're going to have to show me that you can beat Old Bricks and Mortar, because I know I've cashed a lot. I think you've cashed a few tickets with Bricks and Mortar as well.
Absolutely.
So Bricks and Mortar certainly doesn't owe us anything.
No. And Anthony Van Dyke, another European horse in there I see, is also 3-1 early line. Old Persian 4-1. That's the 11th at Santa Anita. Both of those European horses should be. It'll be interesting to see them and what they do at Santa Anita.
That sounds like an exacta box to me, Joe.
Yeah, it certainly does. All right, so we're going to look here at the, of course, the best bet here in the Breeders' Cup Classic. A whole bunch of very good horses. You love Vino Rosso here, but let's face it, there's a lot of horses in here. Elate, Mackenzie, Mongolian Groom. I mean, you can go down Code of Honor. There's a whole lot that can happen here in this race. $6 million handle, though. Let's face it, guys. That's a big payday. Who do you like with Vino Rosso? Oh,
Joe, I on my ticket, I've got Vino Rosso over 5 others. That's how hard this is to handicap. I hate to do it, but that's the way I have.
Yep.
I've got Vino Rosso over 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11, over 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, over 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm playing a 50-cent, $30 superfecta.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, with how close this race is, class-wise and ability-wise, this is going to be for sure $1,000 superfecta minimum.
Love that.
Minimum.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a good bet. Yep, absolutely.
Now, one of the ones off the earth, the TVG Mile, race number 9 here. Interesting enough. I think the American turf horses are better than their European counterparts, at least heading into this Breeder Cup. And I think we saw that again yesterday on Friday here. But what about Uni? What about this horse coming into this race here, the TVG Mile, race number 9? 7-2, early line favorite, but you got Stormy. You've got a few horses in that 9th race here that look that they can compete.
Yeah, well, all I'm going to say is this is another Chad Brown uni, so you can never let him out of anything. But I do like the girls to beat the boys in that race.
Okay.
I know it's something that I would never usually say, but these are 2 outstanding girls, and I think that 11 and 6 exacta box is a good bet.
Okay. All right. And one final one. I know Matoli is one of your best bets. Race 8. It is the sprint. talent-loaded race here with the Breeders' Cup. Matoli, obviously there. Chancelot is another one that you mentioned there that should be there at the wire, but you got Engage,
Yep.
Imperial Hint. There's a few other ones in here that might be able to do some damage here today.
Well, in that race, I'll tell you, a late scratch of Imperial Hint, so it made it a lot easier to handicap. It's now down to me a 2-horse race. It's Matoli and Chancelot. And, I think Cataluna Cruiser can fit the triple someplace, but I like those two, and I can't get by those two.
All right. It is, guys, without a doubt, the biggest day of horse racing here, the 2019 Breeders' Cup Classic. You got a whole bunch of picks, a whole bunch of plays there. Also invite you guys, make sure you follow in Benny the Boot on Twitter, guys. It's pretty simple, man. All you have to do is check him out. It's at Benny_Boot, at Benny_Boot. Follow him. He's got plays there all week long for you guys. The horse racing year, it never ends. And any word on the track? I know there was a lot of, obviously, a lot of tragedy at Santa Anita here. They were really worried about this Breeder Cup at Santa Anita. What's the word about the track? So far, so good. I mean, it looks to me to be pretty good there throughout yesterday and so far today.
Well, because of all the deaths at the track, the media has made it something supposed to be really terrible. But you know what? It's been happening for years and years. The only trouble is the media has jumped on Santa Anita because of the animal protection groups. But it happens all the time. It's just a normal course of events for horse racing. But as far as that goes, on September 29th, they shut down Santa Anita and they put an additional cushioning surface on top of the track. Now, all that did was they thought it would help soften any injuries, but what it did was it slowed the track down.
Ooh.
And the truth of the matter is, if you go by yesterday, it didn't make any difference because speed runners were winning, closers were winning, Eastern horses were winning, West Coast horses were winning. So you know what? Just play the best horse and forget about track bias. There isn't any.
There you go. He is Benny the Boot, at Benny_Boot. Make sure you check him out, guys. Also, he is the resident track handicapper at the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Benny, appreciate the time, my man. Good luck today with the races. Enjoy them. We'll talk again.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate your show. Really great.
Appreciate it, man. Benny the Boot, at Benny_Boot. Catch him on Twitter today, guys. Good luck.